I was paid $1 million to stand perfectly still in a cornfield for 7 nights. I wasn't scaring away birds. My name is Miguel. I'm 28 years old, an ex-Marine, and until 2 weeks ago, I was deep in the hole with the agency. It was in that scenario of desperation that I found the ad. It wasn't on the dark web, nor in some shady back alley. It was in a printed newspaper, the kind nobody reads anymore, forgotten on a park bench, the kind of place I shouldn't have even stopped to look at. It read, "Needed, static field security. Location, Boa Safra Farm, interior of Mato Grosso, Brazil. Duration, 7 nights, harvest period. Requirements, extreme physical resilience, total muscle control, military discipline. Payment, $1 million, U.S. tax-free, offshore deposit. Note, candidate must be capable of remaining motionless for 12-hour periods." $1 million. A scam, obviously, but when I called the number, the voice on the other end didn't try to sell me anything. It just gave me GPS coordinates and a time. Would they steal my kidney and leave me waking up in a bathtub full of ice? To be honest, not even my kidneys are worth much these days, so I took the risk. The interview was brief. The contractor, a man named Colonel Valdemar, met me in a warehouse on the side of a dirt road. He didn't look like a farmer. He looked like a warden. Sun-cured face, scarred hands, and a look that evaluated me like a slab of meat at a butcher shop, not a professional. "Can you stay still, kid?" he asked, smoking a straw cigarette that smelled like burnt manure. "I sat in a hide site in Haiti for 14 hours without moving a muscle, sir," I replied. "Haiti is a playground compared to my plantation," he laughed, a dry, humorless sound. "The job is simple. You put on the suit, you get up on the stand, you stay there from 6 in the evening until 6 in the morning. If you come down before the bell rings, you lose the contract. If you accidentally move when they're close, you lose your life." I signed the contract. The paper was thick, yellowed. There were clauses about biological risk, irreversible psychological damage, and accidental disappearance. I didn't read it properly. I only saw the number with 6 zeros. The farm was in the middle of absolute nowhere, miles and miles of corn. But it wasn't common corn. The stalks were tall, almost 10 feet high. The leaves were a dark, oily green that shined under the scorching sun. And the ears of corn were red, a vivid arterial red. "It's transgenic, resistant to pests, but it attracts another kind of pest," Valdemar explained, catching my stare. We went to the center of the cornfield. There was a circular clearing, and in the middle of a solid wooden cross treated with pitch, featuring supports for feet and a backrest. "Your post," he pointed. Then he handed me the uniform. I was expecting camouflage fatigues or maybe a tactical vest. What he gave me looked like a medieval nightmare, a jumpsuit of thick leather, reinforced with ceramic plates and Kevlar underneath. Over the leather, coarse burlap was stitched on, mimicking the clothes of a classic scarecrow. The smell of the outfit was ranker than the breath of the local crackheads. "Why the smell?" I asked, holding back vomit as I pulled on the heavy pants. "Olfactory camouflage," Valdemar said seriously. "They're blind, but their sense of smell is sharp. This disguises your human scent. If they smell live people, they attack." The mask was the worst part, a burlap sack reinforced with an internal steel cage to protect the face. There were only 2 tiny holes for the eyes, covered by a dark mesh. Before leaving me there for the first night, Valdemar went over the rules. He spoke with the gravity of a priest giving last rites. Total immobility. They sense vibration. If you tremble, they know where you are. Silence. If you have to sneeze, bite your tongue until it bleeds but do not make a sound. The bell. I ring the bell at the main house at 0600 a.m. Only come down when you hear the bell, never before. Even if it looks like the sun is risen, they mimic the light. Contact. They will climb on you. They will smell you. They will touch you. Do not react. The suit can withstand a few light bites, but if you decide to be stupid and react, they will gut you, and that suit will tear like paper. He helped me up on the support. He strapped my feet with leather buckles, but left my arms free, although resting on the crossbar. Good luck, Miguel. The last guy lasted 3 nights. What was left of him, we buried with the fertilizer. Valdemar left. I was used to insane orders. My previous commanders had put me in worse situations. His jeep disappeared in the dust. The sun went down, and the cornfield woke up. The first night was a test of pain, not fear. Staying still in a crucifix position is anatomically torturous. Within 2 hours, my shoulders burned. In 4, my legs were numb. Sweat ran down inside the leather suit, boiling my skin, but I couldn't scratch. The smell of the clothes impregnated my nostrils, making me dizzy, but let's say it was all expected so far. The cornfield was noisy. The wind hit the hard leaves, making a sound like crumpled paper. I kept imagining things, footsteps, whispers, but I knew it was my mind projecting fear. I saw nothing, just the dark green sea under the moonlight. When the bell rang at 6 a.m., I almost fell off the cross support. Valdemar had to help me walk to the headquarters. My muscles were locked up. "Good start," he said, "but they haven't found you yet. It takes them a while to sense something new." On the 3rd night, the wind stopped. Silence fell over the farm like a lead shroud. I was up there, fighting the insane urge to crack my neck, when I heard it. It wasn't the sound of corn breaking. It was the sound of earth being turned, like a gravedigger preparing the ground for a coffin. Except, unlike that, it was coming from below, from the roots. I looked down, moving only my pupils, without turning my head. The earth between the rows of corn began to swell, as if giant moles were digging to the surface. And then, a hand came out of the earth. It wasn't humanoid. It was long, pale, with 6 thin fingers that looked like white roots. The nails were black, curved claws. The creature emerged. It was humanoid, but disproportionate, about 7 feet tall, thin to the point of being skeletal. The skin was white, milky, covered in pulsating blue veins. It had no eyes. In its place, there was just smooth skin. I could say it looked a lot like that internet legend, Slender Man. The creature wasn't alone, though. Another came out of the earth to the left, another to the right. There were dozens of them. The Reapers, as my mind christened them. They walked strangely, with spasmodic movements, joints cracking. They sniffed the air, their eyeless heads swaying from side to side. The smell that wafted up to me was horrible, the smell of an open grave. One of the Reapers, larger than the others, with deep scars on its pale chest, came straight to where I was. It didn't hesitate. It climbed fast, with the agility of a spider. In seconds, it was face to face with me. I could see the pores in its skin. It had no eyes, aiming its empty face in my direction. The nostrils, like slits in the center of its face, flared. It raised a clawed hand and touched my chest. The claw scratched the burlap, hitting the ceramic plate underneath. It tilted its head, as if curious. It brought its face close to my mask, licked the steel mesh where my mouth was. I felt its viscous saliva fall on my lip. I wanted to scream, to kick, to draw the knife I didn't have, but I froze. I turned my body into stone. If I moved a millimeter, it would tear my throat. It stayed there for an hour, a whole hour, hanging on the cross, breathing in my face, touching me, smelling me. The Reaper ran its long claws along my neck, looking for an entry into the suit. Of course, I cried in silence, just as I had done countless times as a Marine. Tears ran down my face inside the mask, salty and hot. I guess in the end that was my luck, being used to acting correctly under pressure. Suddenly, a lightning struck nearby. The boom was deafening. The Reaper startled. It let out a high-pitched scream and jumped, disappearing into the corn. I spent the rest of the night trembling, praying for the bell to ring. When Valdemar picked me up in the morning, I couldn't speak. He saw the scratches on the suit. "They're getting bold," he murmured. "Just 2 more nights, kid. Hang in there." The last night, I was exhausted. My mind was worse than before. I was seeing things even with the sun high in the sky. Valdemar gave me a double dose of stimulants before I went up. "Tonight is the royal harvest," he said.